beast! Ah!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Not the Bees, the Nicolas Cage filmography podcast. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Megs.
This week we watched 2018 Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, starring a whole bunch of people. It's animated, so they're all voiceovers. We start out meeting Miles Morales. He is a 13-year-old boy in New York. He won a scholarship to a magnet school called Visions. His dad is a cop. His mom is a nurse. He's at that place in life where you want to make your own moves, but you don't know a whole lot. One night, Miles sneaks out of the school dorms to go see his uncle Aaron. Aaron and his dad fell out some time ago, but Aaron is very supportive of Miles's art, and this occasion is no different. Aaron takes Miles to a subway tunnel he knows so Miles can tag the wall. There's a spider in this tunnel. It's brightly colored and also able to camouflage itself. As Miles finishes his graffiti and he and Aaron head out, the spider crawls into Miles' hand and bites it. Miles smacks it off and leaves, thinking nothing of it. The next morning at school, Miles is suddenly taller. There's a girl that he's into, and when he tries to pull off the move his uncle showed him the night before, his hand sticks to her hair and he can't get it off. They go to the nurse and they shave Miles' hand and the girl's hair. When he leaves the nurse's office, the security guard stops him for sneaking out and Miles runs. He ends up stuck in the guard's office, freaking out, sticking to everything. He ends up frantically climbing walls on the outside of the building back to his room. He freaks out some more when he sees his Spider-Man comics and he's experiencing the same issues as Spider-Man. He runs through the city. He tries to call his uncle, but no answer, so he heads back to the subway tunnel where he got bitten. He finds the spider and touches it, but it glitches. He follows the tunnel a little further as his Spidey sense starts going off and comes across a fight between Spider-Man and Green Goblin. Miles tries to leave, but ends up getting caught in the fray. As the fight escalates, they end up in a chamber of a large collider. Miles falls from high up, and Spider-Man finally realizes someone else is there and saves him. They share a moment where they recognize each other's powers, and then Spider-Man says to wait there, he can help him with his powers, and then he goes back to the fight. Spider-Man needs to plug in a chip to the collider to destroy it, because it could cause a black hole to open up. But before he can make it there, another villain known as the Prowler shows up, and with his help, the Green Goblin is able to subdue Spider-Man. Then Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, enters the Collider's office and tells Spider-Man to stay for the test and turns the machine on. The city outside is going all kinds of weird. Spider-Man is able to get the Goblin off and heads back towards the control panel, but the Goblin grabs him and flies him into the Collider's beam, causing the system to overload and explode. On the floor of the room, Miles survived. Green Goblin seems to be dead. Spider-Man is hurt and can't stand up. He gives the device to Miles and tells him he needs to shut it down. He tells Miles that if Fisk turns it on again, everything will be destroyed. Then he makes Miles leave. Fisk approaches with the Prowler. Spider-Man says he knows what Fisk is trying to do, but it won't work. Fisk becomes enraged and beats Spider-Man to death. Miles has watched the whole thing and makes a noise as he tries to leave and is discovered. Fisk sends the Prowler after him through the subway, but Miles is able to get back up to the street. He runs back to his parents' house and climbs through his bedroom window. His dad comes in calling police, then asks what's wrong, and Miles just wants to sleep there tonight. From his bedroom, he can hear the news. Spider-Man is dead. MJ gives a press conference. Miles buys a Spider-Man Halloween costume. He puts it on and joins several others in costume at her speech. Then he decides to get to work, using the comics to guide him. It fails spectacularly, and he ends up breaking the device to destroy the collider. That night, Miles visits Peter Parker's grave. He tells him about the device. He apologizes. He wants to do what he asked, but he can't do it without him. A man approaches him and scares Miles. He startles and zaps the guy somehow and knocks him out. Miles can sense him in the same way Spider-Man sensed him. It's another Peter Parker, and we get a short montage of him being Spider-Man in his universe and screwing it up before the collider pulled him into this universe. He thinks the thing that brought him here killed his universe's Peter. Back at the present, a cop shows up to the cemetery. Miles grabs this new Peter, and they make a hilarious getaway with Peter's web shooters through traffic, all while Peter is unconscious. Peter wakes up tied to a punching bag at Aaron's apartment, and Miles interrogates him. He wants this Peter to train him. Peter doesn't want to and easily makes it out of his bonds and goes to leave through the window, but he glitches and falls down the fire escape. Miles says he needs help because Kingpin is going to kill him and he needs to destroy the super collider. Peter says he needs to get the collider to get home. Miles says he needs to shut it down when he leaves, otherwise this universe will be destroyed. Peter decides they can work together. They head to Alchemex, Kingpin's lab, to steal what they need to recreate the device and shut down the collider. They come up with a zany plan, which includes Miles being the lookout, but then Kingpin shows up, so he runs to warn Peter. Peter wants him to go back, but Miles says he's staying. They eavesdrop and hear the main scientists talk about the collider and the potential issues, but they can access multiple dimensions. Kingpin gives her 24 hours. Our Spideys head to her office to download what they need, but Miles gets stuck to the ceiling and can't let it go. Peter tells him to relax, and when he does, he falls and crashes onto a table, but then goes invisible and Peter can't find him. They spend precious time arguing and the scientist discovers them. The scientist is freaking out because he's supposed to be dead. She examines him and how he's different from this universe's Peter, while Miles, still invisible, tries to hack the computer. She traps Peter to the chair and explains that he's glitching, and if he stays in this dimension, his body will disintegrate. She can't wait to see. This is Dr. Olivia Octavius. This universe is Dr. Octopus. She and Peter fight while Miles, still invisible, just picks up the computer and tries to leave with it. He's caught and a chase ensues. The two make it outside and Peter gives Miles a web shooter and tells him to get ready, but Miles is terrible at swinging and nearly gets caught. Peter goes back and helps him. They share a moment where Peter helps him get the hang of swinging, but then he glitches and falls. Doc Ock gets the computer and turns to run, but a third spider person has entered the chat. It's the new girl from Miles' school. Her name is Gwen Stacy, and we get another short montage about her becoming Spider-Woman in her universe. So everyone makes it away from Alchemex. The spiders have the computer, and Doc Ock assures Kingpin this is good news. He wants to use the machine to pull the versions of his wife and son into this universe. He can get that because 3 spider people is proof the collider works. Our spiders make their way to Aunt May's because they have nowhere else to go. She immediately knows this new Peter isn't hers. Miles tells her he was there when Peter died and he's sorry. He asks her if Peter had something to help them remake the device, what Aunt May calls a goober. She takes them out back to the shed. There's an elevator inside that takes them down to a Batman-type cave with all kinds of tech, cars, and suits. Miles says they'll be outnumbered, but May says she's not so sure. Others have arrived. And here we meet 3 new spiders. Penny Parker, an anime girl with a spider robot from the future. Spider Ham, a cartoon pig bitten by a radioactive pig. And Spider-Man Noir, a PI from the 1930s who is in black and white. We see overlapping montages of them becoming who they are. And Spider-Man Noir is played by our Nick Cage.
Yep.
Next, everyone gangs up on Miles. He's super new to his powers and he can't do any of them on command. They go and talk about him as a group without him, and he goes invisible and leaves. Miles walks around the city. His dad calls, but he doesn't answer. His dad calls Aaron and says it's important. They can't find Miles. Please call him back. Miles ends up at Aaron's place, but he's not home. He writes a note, and before he can leave, the Prowler shows up, and Miles is scared into invisibility. When the Prowler takes his mask off, he sees it's his uncle, Aaron, and leaves. Aaron catches him leaving and gives chase, but Miles has his mask on, so Aaron doesn't know it's his nephew. The chase ends up causing a huge car crash, but Miles gets away. The other spiders create a new goober. Miles...
I know, it's the most ridiculous word.
It's so fun. The other spiders create a new goober. Miles gets back to Maze just as they're talking about reaching out and tells them about Aaron. Right after, Doc Ock shows up with a couple of other villains, Scorpion and Tombstone, and a huge fight ensues in May's living room. Miles gets the goober and runs with the Prowler on his heels. He climbs to the roof where the Prowler is able to grab him by the throat and dangle him from the roof. Miles pulls his mask up and Aaron stops. He pulls his mask off, pulls Miles' mask back down, and sets him down. Fisk is on the ground and tells Aaron to finish it, but Aaron steps away and Fisk shoots him. Miles grabs Aaron and takes him to the safety of an alley. But Aaron is too far gone and dies just before Miles' dad arrives at the alley, responding to the call. Miles goes invisible and leaves. His dad finds Aaron dead, calls all units to find Spider-Man. Miles goes back to the school dorm. The other spiders follow him there. They try to comfort him, but also tell him that he can't come and help them with the goober. He's too inexperienced. The first Peter that came through webs him to his chair and they leave. Miles' dad comes to the door. Miles can't answer because he's tied up, but his dad assumes it's normal teenage angst and tells him that he loves him and to please call him when he can. After his dad leaves, Miles gets angry, and then he focuses and is able to zap himself out of the webbing, and he goes after the other spiders. There's a big event going on at Fisk's building, and the spiders use this as a way to sneak in because all of the wait staff are dressed as Spider-Man. The lab with the collider is in the deep basement of the building, and they make their way down. Fisk is having Doc Ock start the collider. Out on the street, things start going crazy again. Gwen tells Peter that he doesn't have to stay behind, she'll do it, but he says no and swings ahead of the group. But Doc Ock knows they're there, and she, Scorpion, and Tombstone go after the spider group. Just as Doc Ock goes to take Peter out, Miles shows up invisible and frees Peter. The others are still fighting the villains. Fisk's wife and son from another dimension are almost through, but it's also pulling multiple other dimensions and their things through as well. This makes the fight sequence incredibly funny and interesting. The spiders finally get ahead of the fray, and Miles takes the goober from Peter and says he'll shut it down. Peter has to get home. Then he jumps and goes to plug it in. He opens portals and sends Penny, Noir, Ham, and Gwen home. Before Peter can get into the portal, Fisk gets into the collider to fight. Peter tries to take the fight, but Miles won't let him. He says he has to go home and drops him into the portal. Now it's just Miles and Kingpin. They fight. It's epic. Miles' dad is again responding to this craziness and ends up in the deep basement of the building watching Fisk beat the crap out of a new Spider-Man. Fisk gets Miles down and he's hurt. From the control room, his dad is saying, "Get up, Spider-Man." Miles gets up. He zaps Fisk with his power and then uses his webs to send Fisk's face first into the green button that shuts down the collider. There's a giant explosion, but Miles and his dad make it out. Miles calls his dad. He tells him he knows about Aaron. His dad says he thought he knew who it was, but he was wrong. His dad says maybe they can find a blank wall at a precinct and Miles can throw up some of his art. Miles hangs up and rushes down to the street. He startles his dad as Spider-Man, but hugs him. They say goodbye, and Miles calls back to turn around. Fisk is hanging by webs between buildings. Next, we get Miles' Spider-Man montage. He says anyone can wear the mask. If you didn't know that before, hopefully you do now. He's Spider-Man, but he's not the only one. Megan!
Yep.
What did you think of this movie?
I love this movie. It's so cute. It's so unique in so many ways. Yeah, I love everything about it. Stylistically, the art it's not static. There's several different art styles going on, along with like the classic sort of rendering that we typically see of Spider-Man. Spider-Man Noir is Nicolas Cage's character, by the way, in this movie. I think he did a wonderful job. He's very funny. At the end, when he's about to go into the portal, he has a Rubik's Cube. And he's so black and white that he can't even tell what the colors on the Rubik's Cube are.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't understand this, but I'm taking this with me. It's so good.
I love when they first introduce Spider-Man Noir and he says, "I drink egg creams and punch Nazis."
Yes.
Lots of Nazis. I'm with you. I love the animation. I love this movie. I think the animation style is really great. I think it's really groundbreaking and they try a lot of different styles and a lot of different things stylistically that you wouldn't typically see in one movie, right? Like there's a modern aspect to the animation, but then like Penny Parker shows up and that is just straight up Japanese anime style.
Oh yeah.
And Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Ham is definitely like Warner Brothers Looney Tunes style.
Yeah, he's like 100% Porky Pig.
Yeah. Spider-Man Noir is like the old comic book serials.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their own very unique and very distinct animation style, and it's great. The music is really good.
It is. I made a note of that. The soundtrack is awesome.
And something that really kind of blew me away that I was not really expecting is that this movie is animated, but is as action-packed and suspenseful as a live-action movie.
It really is. It really, like, it's so, like, there's never a boring moment. It's so action-packed.
Yeah.
It's so it's wonderful. The cast is just absolutely stacked with so many wonderful talents. Mahershala Ali, Lily Tomlin, Zoe Kravitz, John Mulaney, Kimiko Glenn, Nicolas Cage, Katherine Hahn, Liev Schreiber, Chris Pine, Oscar Isaac. Like, it just goes on and on and on. Like, there's so many wonderful actors and actresses in this movie.
When they first meet Spider-Man Noir, he's like holding onto the wall and his cape is billowing behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter Parker goes,
Where's
the wind coming from? And Spider-Man Noir goes, wherever I go, the wind follows.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so 1940s cheese. It reminds me of reading a lot of Dashiell Hammett. It reminds me a lot of like Bogart.
Yes.
He's channeling a lot of that in his performance, and it's really, really good. Let's talk really briefly about Kingpin.
Yeah.
Because his motivation isn't bad. He wants to see his wife and son again. They were killed in a car accident. He misses them terribly. Right. He thinks he can just go reach into another universe and grab them and bring them into this universe, and then he will have his wife and son again. Which, all things said, is not a bad motivation for doing what he's doing. It's an altruistic, if not selfish.
Incredibly selfish. Yeah.
It is selfish. But he's not like, I'm doing this because I want to destroy Spider-Man. And he's not, I'm doing this because I want money. He's doing this for love.
Right. And damn the consequences. Which, I mean, yeah, it's very morally gray. It's not, I would say scale of 1 to 10, this movie's Dr. Octopus is way more evil than Wilson Fisk was.
Yes. Yes, it's so very rare that you get moral ambiguity in your villains that I wanted to call it out. Because what he is doing is not evil. He's not fucking with the fabric of the universe just to fuck with the fabric of the universe.
Right.
He's doing it because he misses his wife and son.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I also think that casting Liev Schreiber as the voice actor for Fisk was perfect.
Yes.
Because you get the emotion that's coming through and everything that he is experiencing in this situation.
There is so much emotion in this film from the moment that it starts. Like, it's silly and it's campy, and it starts with a Spider-Man montage, and we get several of those Spider-Man montages as we're introduced to other Spider-Men coming in from the different universes. But it's all, there's so much heart to it.
Yeah. That's a really good way of describing it. Yes, there's a lot of heart in this movie.
So what would we rate this movie?
I mean, it's an A++ for me. And like, considering the fact that I'm really not a fan of cartoons.
Yeah.
In general.
I was afraid you would have a hard time with this because it's an animated film.
Well, I actually saw this and its sequel last year or the year before for the first time. It's some very insistent urging from a friend because it's not, cartoon. And they're like, you're not going to get bored with it. And I was not. That person was telling the absolute truth. I was absolutely not bored at all. I mean, I watched them back to back, and I think that they're making a third one, and I honestly cannot wait for it.
Yeah, there is a third one coming.
Yeah, and it's so good.
There is also a spin-off coming to Amazon. It's called Spider-Man Noir, starring Nicolas Cage as a live-action Spider-Man Noir. Yeah.
I mean, I believe he's still going to be, like, the voice actor. Like, there's definitely going to be a body actor, because he's not going to be able to do Spidey stuff. But yeah, I'm super excited to see that. I also really enjoyed the sort of very subtle nod to the Spider-Man movies that we already know.
Yes.
Like the first Peter Parker that dies at the beginning of the movie is sort of an obvious nod to Tobey Maguire. The second Peter Parker, Peter B. Parker, his montage is overlapped with the Amazing Spider-Man, so it's the homage to Amazing Spider-Man. I thought that was really fun. Yeah, just overall, I really enjoyed the entire thing. The only thing that I wish that we had been able to see more of is Gwen's universe,
Yes.
because we only get to see like a tiny shot of it at the end when he's talking about like his own experience, when it's his own montage about where all the other spider people are. We get to see a very brief clip of her in her city on her phone, and it looks just like bejeweled and like encrusted in like precious stones. It's very pretty looking, very ethereal. I would love to see more of that.
What would we rate the caginess of this?
I'm honestly going to say it's an A as well. It was funny. It was very camp. It was exactly what you would expect a Spider-Man from the 1940s to sound and be. Spot on to me. So
Yeah, I agree. It's an A. It's not an A++ because it's a very small role,
very small role, but
but it's very good.
impactful. Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's another one from us. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Check it out. It's really, really good. If you have sat with us through these mini episodes, thank you. Thank you for listening. We are on social media on Instagram at Not the Bees Pod. We have a Patreon if you want to kick us a few bucks at Not the Bees, patreon.com/notthebees. But that's going to do it for us this week. I've been Elizabeth.
And I've been Megs.
And we'll see you next time.